Maybe we start there. Like you guys have had these tight affairs in the last 18 months. What do you think it is that you match up so well? And I guess what was the difference tonight?
Yeah, we've had some tight games. Tonight was probably one they controlled for most of the night, and in the end we hung around and we could have made it a little more interesting than what we did. You know, just it didn't execute late. But that's not the difference. I think the difference was in that first half when you've got two midfielders who were both outstanding players in Dunkley and Neil, just racking up 50 possessions or just under between them, and 4 goals or 3 goals, and we were unable to stop it. We tried a number of different ways to get it done, and it wasn't until the second half that we were able to do that. So that was really disappointing from our point of view.
You mentioned it, but like there's a lot of good work you seem to undo yourselves. It's just basic unforced errors all night. What do you think? Yeah,
well, some of that's off the back of pressure. Their pressure early was as good as we've felt for a month or so. We struggled with that in the first quarter. We couldn't find a mark. We couldn't control the game other than when we were able to get an intercept mark, and even then we didn't really move the ball as well as we'd like. So we were competing for most of the night, so the contest number looks okay for us. But when you've got a team like Brisbane playing so much in their front half, it felt like it was forward stoppage after forward stoppage all night, which it's not a good place to have the footy for so long, especially when some of their forwards are ripping around like they do. So the game was on their terms for the majority of the night. We hung around, but not quite good enough tonight.
You said obviously Neil and Dunkley were so influential in that first half. How difficult then? It looked like Berry was going at one stage, and maybe Murphy at one stage. Like there were a few guys you were trying. How difficult is it to try and lock in versus, I guess, sticking to what you planned originally? Yeah,
it pulls us apart a little bit when we do, have to put a lot more time in, and it shuffles. If our midfielders aren't quite, that's probably not the word. If our midfielders aren't getting it done, then it pulls our structure apart. And in the second half, we went to almost plan D. Unfortunately, we tried in that second quarter and weren't able to get it done as mids, and so it's one that we'll look at now and we'll learn a lot from as a young midfield. Is okay. How do we get that done? What sort of accountability do we need on players like that? And sometimes it's hard. You're not going to stop them completely because there's a reason that they're the best players in the competition. Lockie Neal's done that for the majority of his career, but it was too much in the first half.
How are you weighing up, like trying to learn more about guys like Dowling, like you're trying to learn about players versus still trying to win games when you've got finals that are almost out of the equation now?
No, it's a combination at the moment. We come into every game believing we're good enough. Brisbane after 4 wins in a row or 5 on the trot is a tough gig, but we believe we're good enough, and maybe with some execution, and even as bad as our first half was, we give ourselves a chance tonight. But we also know we need to be a lot better than that. We probably dodged some bullets in the first half. I think some of their kicking shots for goal, they could have put us away a little earlier. But we're always picking a side that we believe can win a game of footy. And Billy, you mentioned Billy Dowling's a big part of that. As is. We brought Zach Taylor on in the last quarter as a midfielder. He's a young lad who's just starting his career out. We'll continue to do that.
Dawson was a bit quiet tonight. What do you put that down to? Just an off game? Or?
It's probably an opposition getting on top of us and dominating us through that first half. We trialled a few things in the second half with Dawes, position-wise, but unfortunately that was their midfield in the first half of the game. Were too good for us, and it meant we were fighting behind the ball, which makes it hard for our guys to, I guess, impact the game as much as what they're doing. So it's one we'll have a good look at going forward, but I think we're pretty clear on where we lost the game tonight.
What's your level of concern over Isaac's incident with Starcevic in the first quarter?
It's one I'll have to leave that to the tribunal or the powers to be and whoever looks after that. It's one I'll let them do what they do.
I think you got that balance right with him. Obviously, he's a guy you probably want to have a couple of parts of the ground, but he still had an impact tonight forward. Mid. Happy with that balance?
yeah, we'll continue to work through it. Yeah, we did change it up a fair bit tonight for him, and that was a challenge. But again, he impacted the game, and as I said, we executed a little better. Maybe we're having a different conversation, but we'll continue to look at that. He's dynamic around the footy. It makes it tough for the opposition, but he's also so dangerous in front of goal. So I thought the balance tonight was about where it should be.
Talk about finding out about players if you are missing him for a few weeks over the next month, that you probably get a chance to do that as well, and I guess how they react to not having such a sort of spark plug that he's been for you guys recently.
Yeah, that'll challenge us. You know, if that's the case, it'll challenge us, but it'll be, you know, that disappointment will be an opportunity for whoever steps up and deserves it. And so, you know, at the moment, our squad is performing at the SANFL level. We've got a group there that have now had a couple of strong performances. We've got a few there that are putting their hand up and saying, I'm ready to play. Not necessarily, you know, in that midfield area as such, but we'll look at that and how we adjust going forward.
Keane, very good tonight. How have you seen his development, yes, and improvement?
Yeah, he's unique, Keeney. He's it's a word I use for both when he does amazing things and for when he does interesting things. But yeah, we love what he brings, you know, to our footy club. He's still, you know, so early in his footy career, and I know he's played super high level of Gaelic, but he'll continue to learn, and yeah, he brings some real excitement to our back line. He's unique. He just takes the game on, and you know, we talk about trying to live every moment, be a goldfish, and he's as good as they come. He forgets a mistake and moves on, and then does three quite incredible things with the ball in his hand. So, yeah, we won't be trying to take that out of him.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.